To understand our neighboring and often notorious country, Pakistan, I used to listen to a lot of Pakistani podcasts. For me, they were once a window into the positive developments there and a way to hear diverse perspectives that probably would not get amplified otherwise. But over time, I've realized that my earlier, more naive optimism about those conversations was misplaced. That said, one thing always struck me. Even the harshest critiques of India in those podcasts would still admit, sometimes reluctantly, that India's IT sector has been a spectacular success, that it exports billions of dollars of worth of software every year.
मैं इंडिया और पाकिस्तान की आईटी कंपनीज के या आईटी इंडस्ट्री के डिफरेंस की बात करना चाह रहा हूँ ठीक है कि उन लोगों ने क्या किया ऐसा कि यार वो तो 200 बिलियन डॉलर 150 बिलियन डॉलर से ऊपर की उनकी एक्सपोर्ट है और ये हर साल इस तरह से बढ़ रही है कि स्पीड से और पाकिस्तान बहुत पीछे.
But here's where I noticed a gap. Almost no one outside India really understands the layers of Indian IT. Global capability centers, or what we call GCCs, are almost always lumped together with Infosys, TCS and Wipro and other outsourcing firms. Make no mistake, I am not undermining what Infosys and TCS have achieved. They were the first to build the global bridges for Indian IT industry. But GCCs represent something completely different. They have quietly grown into powerhouses of innovation, engineering, and product ownership in India. And their contributions go far beyond just software exports. So in this video, I want to talk about GCCs, how they evolved, why their growth accelerated after 2020, and why their role in Indian economy is much bigger, far more strategic than most people realize. So what exactly are GCCs? Global Capability Centers, or GCCs, are not just outsourcing vendors, they are captive centers set up by multinational companies themselves. Think of JPMorgan building a tech hub in Bengaluru, Walmart running a product lab in Chennai, or Boeing designing aerospace solutions in Bengaluru. These are not service providers. They are actual brains of global corporations operating from India. Not just global giants, even startups that achieve a certain scale open GCCs in India. Indonesia's Gojek has done it, Grab did it, and many South Asian unicorns now run their tech backbones out of Bangalore or Hyderabad. What started as a multinational phenomena has now expanded into global startup strategy. Today, India hosts 1,700 multinational companies running around 3,000 GCCs employing close to 2 million people. By 2030, that number is projected to cross 2.5 million with the revenues of nearly $100 billion. So how did the boom happen? The stories of GCCs is a story of phases. There was phase 1, the cost era. In 1990s and early 2000s, companies came to India to cut costs. They set up captives in Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Pune to handle the IT support, compliance, and some basic finance work. It was cheaper, and India had engineers in abundance. Phase 2, the build era. By 2010s, something changed. India's talent matured. GCCs weren't just back offices anymore. They were building products, platforms, and doing R&D. Companies realized that they could trust Indian teams with ownership and not just execution. Phase 3, the acceleration. After 2020, three forces collided: COVID-19, the global AI cloud boom, and China plus one diversification strategy. Suddenly, GCCs became central to resilience. They were no longer support centers, they were innovation engines. Another reason, policy reforms. In 2020, India simplified its other service providers regulation for the BPO and BPM industry. Economist Sanjeev Sanyal called it one of the reasons behind the GCC boom, and Nandan Nilekani described the reform as breathtaking in its simplicity. So how are GCCs different from the outsourcing companies? At first glance, both GCCs and IT giants like Infosys, TCS employ a large number of Indian engineers, but their contribution to the economy are very different. Outsourcing companies sell services. GCCs create knowledge transfer. For example, as India pushes for semiconductor manufacturing, one crucial piece, the chip design talent, is already solved. Today, 20% of world's chip designers sit in India, thanks to GCCs set up by Intel, Qualcomm, and others. Parts of electric cars are being designed in India today. Even Amazon's procurement functions are run entirely out of India. This kind of knowledge transfer is invaluable. It seeds specific high-end skills into Indian workforce. These skills can then be tomorrow leveraged by Indian companies themselves, creating new domestic giants.
The geography of growth.
GCCs were first concentrated in tier 1 cities like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Pune and Gurgaon. But just like China's manufacturing boom started near ports and later spread inland, GCCs are now moving from tier 1 cities into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Why? Tier 2 cities offer lower costs, better infrastructures and universities feeding fresh talent. Salaries are more competitive compared to saturated hubs like Bengaluru. And in tier 1 cities, choked traffic, high rentals and governments unwilling to fix the urban infrastructure is one of the reasons why people are exploring tier 2 options. Reports already show that GCC leasing picking up in cities like Coimbatore, Kochi, Ahmedabad, Indore, Jaipur, Pune, to name a few. This will be India's next IT frontier. By the way, I'll be making a separate video entirely about why Indian tier 1 cities are doing so badly when it comes to urban infrastructure. So do subscribe if that's something that you would like to know more about. Recently, when United States President Donald Trump announced a 100,000 fee per H-1B application, Twitter went into frenzy. Some claimed it would force thousands of Indians back, even trigger chaos or protests like Nepal. Now let me disappoint my communist friends who have been dreaming of revolutions. That is not going to happen. The fee doesn't apply retroactively, and the companies that truly need local talent will simply have to pay for it. What's actually happening is something else. GCCs are asking for single window clearance to set up offices faster in India. Even if some Indians do come back, they will easily be absorbed into GCCs, assuming they do come back, which I think is very unlikely. So the next time when someone talks to you about Indian IT sector, remember that it's not just Infosys, TCS or Wipro. There's another layer, the GCCs, that are equally important. They may not make headlines, they may not be listed on stock exchange, but they are quietly powering India's biggest companies from within India. And their contribution is deeper than exports. They create talent pools, seed knowledge, and move global innovation pipelines into India's soil. This is India's hidden IT boom, and it's just getting started. If you found this story useful, make sure you like this video and share it with your friends. And if you want more deep dives into India's hidden economic and policy shape, do not forget to subscribe to Periscope, because the real stories that are shaping our world often lie beneath the headlines.